Day 28, 28 days. Today we're going to be talking about satellites, working FM satellites from pretty much anywhere on Earth, from Earth, satellite Earth. We're going to talk about working some satellites, or what they call birds, which are repeaters orbiting the Earth, and we're going to do some FM satellite work today. I'm driving up here to meet with Robert, W5ITR, and those of you who might have watched my channel in the past, you know that Robert is big into satellites. He's done a lot with satellites. I've had him on the channel several times before. When we take trips together, I usually record him making satellite contacts, and he's actually working at building a home-based satellite system in his yard, which is not done yet, unfortunately, but he still lives in a good area where it should be a little bit easier to work satellites. And I just like getting out and going and visiting people. So we're going to drive up to his home QTH today, and we're going to do some satellite where I'm going to film him doing some satellite work. I'm not going to do it. I've tried satellites once. I need to get a better setup for doing it. And we're going to talk to him about his equipment. We're going to talk to him about his antennas, and we're going to see. He's also a goat farmer, a goat rancher, I should say. He's got goats on his property, so we're going to talk to the goats, or we're going to talk to the goats. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go out and talk to the goats. I mean, why not? But we're going to see some goats out here and check out his setup and see what kind of stuff we can do with satellites for 30 Days of Ham Radio, guys. Thanks for sticking around.
That's telemetry right there.
Okay.
Now the key to working SO-124 is because they're broadcasting telemetry on the same frequency that voice activity is, you need to pick your spot in between the telemetry.
Okay, so go ahead and work it, but I'm going to get you to explain the audience exactly what you mean by the word telemetry. You did a live stream on it last week. So.
Yeah. W5ITR, Echo Mike 13. X-ray Echo Mike, or X-ray Echo 1, Yankee Delta Kilo, W5ITR, EM13, got you loud and clear. X-ray Echo 1, Yankee Delta Kilo, W5ITR, I'm EM13 today. Thanks for the contact. W5ITR, Echo Mike 13. It's a good full quiet signal there.
Yeah, it was.
That's the guy I just
It's
got.
the same guy.
Maybe there's not a lot of operators in a midday pass.
Yeah. I think I've heard you work that guy before.
Yeah, Juan is really
pretty active.
W5ITR, Echo Mike 13. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
All right. Well, hey, Juan was out there. We got one.
One contact, and that's, from Springtown, Texas to Mexico.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I don't understand why more people aren't out working satellites today instead of at work. What's up, guys? I mean, come on. Let's get some priorities here.
That's right. It is lunchtime.
It is lunchtime. That's
Come
true.
on.
So we made one satellite contact, and that's actually kind of typical, though, right? I mean, you're not making dozens or hundreds of contacts on a satellite pass, right?
Yeah, the most contacts I've made on a pass is 9.
9, okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say 5 or 6, so it's
5 or 6 is much more common.
Okay.
Pro tip for folks who are trying satellites for the first time, don't do it on the weekends. Do it weekday, midday, right? Because this is when you'll get a chance to practice hearing yourself get into the repeater, right? There's not nearly as many people working satellites during the week as there are in the weekends or in the early mornings or early evenings.
If you want to listen, that'd probably be a good time to listen on the weekends.
It's a great time to listen.
To just kind of get the cadence and nuance of how everything works. So,
yeah.
Okay.
And, that's a really good point. It's a different cadence.
Yeah.
And it takes a little bit, right? Even people who are who've been operators for a long time, the first time they start working satellites, they get a little bit of mic fright back, right? Just because it's a different, it's fast paced,
Right.
and there's a lot going on.
Yep.
So I definitely recommend, and I did the same thing for probably 2 weeks straight before I actually ever hit the PTT. I just made sure I could get into the bird every single time. I could listen, and then the other thing is, you've got a lot of call signs coming at you with grid squares.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're at your machine where you're typing in the call sign and you can look on the screen and repeat the call sign back. You've got to be able to memorize it. It's more like being in your vehicle.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And
that's why you record.
That's a different skill.
Stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So start at the beginning. So a satellite is a repeater that's literally orbiting the Earth, just like you would expect a satellite to do.
Yep.
And there are FM satellites, which are usually crossband, so they're listening on 2 meters and transmitting on 440, or vice versa.
Correct.
I don't know if there's one more common than the other.
Yeah, it's more common to have the UHF or 70 centimeters down.
So you're listening to 70 centimeters.
Correct.
Okay.
And so you have to adjust for Doppler on the listening portion.
Right.
Right. But like AO91 is opposite of that. You're transmitting on 70 centimeters and you're receiving on 2 meters.
Okay. Okay. And there is such a thing as, they call him Tom up there, KB5FHQ, I think, Tom. He calls them linear birds, and they're sideband.
Yeah.
So
so there's still 2 meters and 70 centimeters.
Okay.
More often than not.
Okay.
There is occasion where there's some other frequencies like 10 meters, right?
Right.
But that's not very common.
Okay.
Usually it's going to be 2 meters, 70 centimeters sideband.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And then those transponders give you a certain amount of bandwidth. So you can have several conversations going on
Oh, yeah.
on that transponder at the same time.
Okay.
Right? So sometimes you've got like 70, 80 kilohertz, 100 kilohertz that you can work and find an open spot and make contacts that way.
And if you're transmitting into it, what's the height of one of these things? They're all different, right? But
they are. So the ISS is about 250 miles above the Earth.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
That's kind of the lowest.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
Now, if
a lot of times you can see that at nighttime.
Yes,
We've seen it before at nighttime.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Okay.
You can absolutely see the lights that are on it, or see a reflection. Sometimes you can just see reflection. I think more often than not, you're seeing reflection. You're probably not seeing any lights. Yeah, the SO50, that can be, depending on its orbit, right? It could be anywhere between 350 to 450 miles above the Earth.
Okay. What kind of... Because you worked, we worked North Texas to Mexico, and that is not unusual. In fact, I might try to get you to send me the footage of, remember when we were out there in Colorado and you worked,
Alaska.
Alaska and Mexico. On the same pass.
In the same pass.
Okay.
Yeah, one at the beginning of the pass.
Right.
Alaska at the very beginning of the pass. And then Mexico at the very end of the pass.
And we were in Colorado, which is not exactly halfway between the two, but it is between Mexico and Alaska.
Right.
So what sort of antenna are typically on these? Does it not matter because they're up so high? Or is there like some sort of like array type antenna that's broader banded that's allowing you to kind of bounce at a greater angle off of the satellite? Or
more often than not, they have some sort of dipole antenna.
Okay.
That's usually what they're going to have.
Okay.
On the satellite itself,
Okay.
right? You got to think about, it's got to be something that can be stowed while it's getting transported and getting to space, and then you've got to be able to deploy it somehow. Right. So they're not very sophisticated in terms of their capability.
So I had Steve at the beginning of this, Steve Goodgame, ARRL Teachers Institute, who we're doing this for. Well, one reason we're doing this for. He reached out to me at the beginning. He's like, are you going to be doing a video about, and I can't remember the first thing he asked about, but the second thing was about satellites. And I'm like, yes, I'm actually planning on doing a satellite video. I'm going to go out and talk to Robert because he's done it a lot more than I have. And that's but people that work satellites there's like it's like the POTA crowd, right? There's a group of people that work satellites that are just diehard satellite people.
They're hardcore.
And it's very interesting to see all the all the rigs and all the setups and all the trial. And it's like, well, why do you do this? Oh, because I screwed up one time and did this. Like, you record all your contacts,
Yes.
so that you can later go back and log them, because you're not going to sit there and log them while the satellite is
That's
moving
right.
so
There's
fast.
too much going on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. And with these FM birds, right, these Leo birds, they're typically between a 6 and 12-minute pass.
Right.
Right. So everything happens in that little window.
And the higher the angle, the quicker it goes over.
Yes,
So
certainly.
you want something that's like
30 to 35 degrees is like the sweet spot.
So it comes from the east and goes to the west. It's kind of like going like this, and you're into it longer, rather than going straight over and it's really fat. It's just moving faster.
Yeah.
Just ratio
For
to
me,
where
certainly,
you are.
I can make many more contacts on a kind of mid-level pass versus a high degree pass.
All right. Well, everybody's going to ask about your equipment. So,
Sure,
and I
sure.
know you've done. Okay. One last thing before we show the equipment: telemetry.
Yes.
So, explain what you mean by that.
Right. So telemetry is information that is sent usually about the satellite or about maybe capturing data that the satellite is capturing via sensors.
Okay.
Right. So it's data that the satellite is sending to Earth about its surroundings, either its operating condition or its surroundings. So every satellite has some level of telemetry. A lot of those are publicly provided information. So they tell you what frequency it's on, and they tell you the data elements that are in the telemetry package, right? So with that, you can record that telemetry information, and then there are various programs that let you decode that information, and then you can see everything that the people that are responsible for and maintaining that satellite can see. So it might be things like your like the battery health, the state of charge on a battery. It could be the temperature at a particular time, right? Each satellite usually has a mission too, right? So there's either a science project or some sort of mission associated with the satellite, and oftentimes that telemetry is related to that mission. So it'll continuously push down information about the mission in those telemetry, in that telemetry stream.
All right. So this is the elk antenna. And I know that because I bought one on your recommendation. The reason you like it better than the Arrow, the elk and the Arrow are the two handheld antennas that are most commonly used. There's probably some others out there, I would assume. This one is this one you like better because it's all on the same polarization.
Yeah, it's there's a couple of reasons I like this.
Okay.
First of all, for somebody just getting into satellites, they're oftentimes buying a bunch of new kit.
Yeah.
Right? They're buying a radio just to do it with. They're buying an antenna just to do it with. They might be buying some sort of packaging, some sort of bag or box or something to deal with everything.
Right.
So there's a certain amount of expense. These are generally $30 to $40 cheaper than the Arrow antennas.
Okay.
So it's got a plus there. If you're going to be roving with it, it's a lot easier to deal with. It's a lot easier to handle. Here you can see it's got elements on a single plane. If this was the Arrow antenna, I would have a hard time finding a place to sit this because I would have elements at 90 degrees to these elements. And so it's just a little bit more to deal with. This has, 10 elements, right? Where that Arrow has many more elements. So we were in a little bit of a rush to get things set up here, right? I can get this put together way quicker than I can get an Arrow put together.
Gotcha.
This packs down a little easier, and it's kind of easier to transport.
If there's more elements on the Arrow, does it have a greater gain?
It does.
It does have a greater gain.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I would say that the Arrow performs better.
Okay.
This is more convenient.
Gotcha.
Okay. So it's like everything else in ham radio, right? It depends, and it's a trade-off, right? Everything's a compromise. For me, I can make contacts just fine with this antenna. So because of that, the convenience outweighs the few dB of gain that I get with the other antenna.
Makes sense. Okay. Cool. Well, everyone asks about your bag there.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yep. Yeah. So this is a Eberly stock multi-pack. That's the model of the bag. As you can see, it's a available to be set up like a chest rig, right? They actually have this this little harness here, which is a separate purchase. You don't get that with the chest rig. This is a separate purchase, but this is a great platform to build your satellite kit with. Now this is also separate as well. This is called the Recon Rangefinder pouch, and it is just the perfect size for holding a Bioenno 3 amp hour battery.
Okay.
So perfect size, fits really well. This whole package fits really well into a backpack. I take this with me to all the ham fests. I usually travel via by plane, and so this fits in my carry-on super easy. Now in the bag I've got an ICOM IC2730. This is my preference for satellite radio. It's full duplex. You can go buy one today off the shelf for right around $300, which one of the most challenging aspects of getting into satellites is getting a radio, because so many radios in the past were full duplex, where today they're not. There's so few full duplex radios on the market. But this is a great one at a great price, right? You could end up buying something like a D72 and pay $800 or $1,000 for an HT, right? I mean, that's kind of one of those unicorn radios that everyone loves for satellites, but it's 5 watts only. And, you know, again, if you're buying kit just to get into satellites, this is a really cheap way to do it. I keep the radio itself in the pack. I've got a little 90-degree connector on the radio itself that I connect the coax to. I can wind this coax up and it fits right in the pack as well. I always keep an audio cable handy so that when I'm working alone, I can plug this into the speaker output of the 2730 and plug this into my recorder, and then I plug my headphones into the recorder. That way I don't have any ambient noise. I can hear what's going on just a little bit better. And it's a little easier to hear yourself in the downlink that way as well.
I imagine so, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Other than that, I created a little pigtail to get me into the power poles for the Bioenno. I use this kind of as a garage whenever I'm working the birds. And then in the other side here, I keep my little voice recorder, right? This is another kind of essential piece of kit for satellite operators. This is how you really keep track of the people you've talked to over the course of a pass, right? I'm not able to remember 5-6 call signs with all that stuff going on. But this and their grid squares, right? Which can change, because that's the idea, right? People rove and collect grid squares. But yeah, that's the kit.
Logging.
Logging.
So where do you, so once you have your contacts recorded, where do you just put them in a regular log? Is there like a satellite tracker logbook somewhere out there, or how does that work?
Yeah, so a lot of logging programs have satellite logging capability. Right, so they actually have a feature in there that you can turn on and say, I'm logging satellites. And they will then recognize grid squares, validate that you've input your grid square correctly. They'll also have a list of satellites, so you're just kind of picking things off of a drop down. And when you pick that off the drop down, it'll populate your frequencies, right? So there are some benefits from using a logger that recognizes and has a satellite feature to it, but it's not necessary. I use one, I put all of them in my regular logger, I mark them as satellite, and then I will upload those to Logbook of the World for those folks that are chasing awards, trying to get maybe Gridmaster Award or some of the other satellite awards.
Sweet, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming out.
Yeah, that was fun. So we're gonna, if you guys have watched any of my videos from the last dozen ham fests I've been at, Robert's usually set up with a satellite antenna somewhere doing something. The best one I still think was when we were at the brewery outside of Huntsville Hamfest.
At Yellowhammer?
At Yellowhammer, yeah.
Oh, it's fun.
And we were just sitting there, and he's like, "Oh, there's a oh, that was the other thing I was going to ask you. What you're always looking at your phone."
Yes.
So what app are you using to tell you?
I use an app called ISS Detector.
Okay.
And the great thing about it is it's available on both iOS and Android. So I can make that recommendation and everyone can use it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's sitting there looking at his phone. We're drinking a beer at Yellowhammer. This was 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah,
wasn't it?
yeah, 2 years
And he's
ago.
like, "Oh, there's a pass." And he goes out and gets this exact rig out of his car. It comes out,
Yep.
and he's standing out there in the middle of the field. And everybody's out there playing volleyball. You're not really close to him, but they're all looking at him like, "What is this
What's
guy
that
doing?"
guy doing?
It was great.
Yeah, that was fun.
It was great. It was fun.
Good stuff.
Well, thanks, man. Appreciate your time today.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks for coming out.
You guys get on the satellites during the workday. I mean, why not? $50 worth of donations were made yesterday, bringing our grand total for this 30-day challenge to $6,098 as of last night. And once again, we're not where we wanted to be. I'm very grateful for the money we have raised, and I'm hoping several of you waited to the last minute to try to see how it went. We were trying to raise $30,000 for the ARRL Teachers Institute, and we're not even really a third of the way there. So we got a few more days left in this challenge, and then we're going to have a live stream on the first Sunday in October. So 73 all, thank you for watching. Be sure to watch all the videos, get all the videos to 10,000 views, and I will donate $100 per video where that happens myself. And we will see you guys tomorrow, 73.